coming here to teach us about the app and how we can get more properties with this stuff. So,
Yeah, definitely.
thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here.
We got some people coming in. No problem. No problem.
Was it?
Are you in that? Yeah, okay, I know. Okay, it's okay. I'm gonna start with, if it's okay, you guys, so what I decided to do on this particular class today was I wanted to go over online profiles, and I wanted to talk about that for a little bit, and then I'm gonna transition into our Lawyers Agent One app that you can do your net sheets for sellers, and you can do quick estimates for buyers. You can do a lot more with that app, but I'm just gonna focus on that because we have a half hour kind of on each topic, and I feel like the transition is gonna be perfect. I'm gonna use the same property and kind of show you how it works and coincides with each other. I've printed out this wonderful user guide. This is kind of like a cheat sheet. I've also got my name right here, lisa.favorite@ltic.com. Most of you may not have a Title Pro account. So the first thing I want you to do is send me an email and say, I'd like to sign up on your Title Pro 247, or just say in the subject line, Title Pro 247 sign up, please. And then you'll get a really cool email from my assistant, Sue. And it will give you the login credentials, which is typically you're going to set up your password and use your email to log in, okay? So right now, you guys won't have access to this because it takes a few minutes to get in and set everybody up, but I wanted you to know you can just send that email in and we'll make sure you get taken care of before the end of the day. And then you have your quick guide here, so there's no reason why that you wouldn't be able to be all set in this. I'm going to show you some quick tips and tricks and how to maneuver through this to get some of your online profiles. Please know my customer service is Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. If you have never ordered a profile or you're a little rusty on the profile situation or newer in the business, it's really nice when my customer service sends it over because they will outline who owns the property, how many loans are on the property, and if there is HERO, okay, on the property or any other issues with the taxes. So they're really good about outlining it. So to get comfortable with profiles, I highly recommend send me a text. I know a lot of you do in here, or call my customer service or email them directly. I know Helen does as well. Where did they go away? There we go. Okay, so profiles, typically I run them on my laptop or on a desktop, but you can definitely run them on an iPad. It's not the best on an iPhone. There is an app that goes along with this, and I'll talk to you about that after, but I want to run it right now from here because of the fact that this is where you're going to be able to see the taxes. And unfortunately, the counties, Orange, LA, Riverside, etc., won't let our title companies tie in the taxes to the app. So it would be best to run it if you can off of an iPad or a desktop or laptop, depending on what you're doing. And once you get an email and you're able to log in and register, you're going to see this as your main screen. And you see the home, the reports, the documents, and lists. Or we could just go straight to find your subject property. So where that property address is, if I click on that drop down, it's going to give me 5 different ways to look up that property profile. Obviously by the owner's name, hi, thank you, welcome. The mailing address, the APN, the intersection, and all that good stuff. So the parcel number is always nice to have. If you have vacant land, that's typically what we're going to want, is the parcel number. Not all vacant land has an address, okay? So, in fact, the majority of them don't. This defaults to Riverside County, however, it's nationwide. So if you've got an owner that tells you they own multiple properties in Riverside County, and they've given you their full name, you can type in under owner name, put the name in, and hit search, and you can go from there. The drop down right here next to the county, that shows me the last profiles I searched. So if I want to go back to those profiles because I forgot, I could just instantly click on that really quick and grab it. Okay? Also, the history at the top. So I'm kind of deviating, but if I go to the history, it will show everything that I've pulled up. Okay? This system is really cool because it does a few other things, right? There's data that the system provides. There's free data, but there's also data that you can purchase. And again, just to stay focused on just the profile and taxes, I'm going to get into that. If we want to do a deep dive maybe next month, I can get into how to pull other data in here as well. But this will show you the reports that I had pulled in the previous weeks. So if I go back home, I'm going to go to my main screen. I'm going to go to this property address. I'm just going to hit in 976 Trovita. Seems to be a nice one when I demonstrate it. Now, I'm not gonna put in Corona. It's Riverside County, so it should pick up. Less is more. So if you've got south, north, east, west, or something like that, don't put it in right away. If it's, is the system perfect? Not always, right? So just, you gotta maneuver around it a little bit. And then you click search. I know you see my face come up on the screen. Okay, anyway. So this is really cool too. So everything that you're seeing, as I'm kind of maneuvering up with the stars, I can either set those as a favorite. So every time I pull a profile, I'm gonna get that information that comes up in the profile. In this particular profile, I usually just pull the whole profile and I start the cover sheet because I wanna know beds, baths, square foot, all that good stuff. I pull the property details. I want the comparables. I don't need a huge detail comparable. And some of you might say, well, why would you pull comps on here? I can go the MLS. Not everything is ran through the MLS. Okay, so remember that too with customer service. If you have a particular property that you're trying to price or bring that value in, sometimes you might not get all that information through the MLS. So customer service can always help you with that, or you could just pull online. And then you see right here underneath, I know it's kind of hard, under where it says tax information, it is a property tax profile. I'm gonna click on this one first to give you like the generic profile. But if I click on estimated property tax profile, I had a buyer that wants to buy this property, I could put in a purchase price right here. Let's say I have an open house on my new listing and it's a $900,000 listing. So when the buyers that come through can see what are my taxes going to be when I purchase this property. So I'm gonna click on that, get my readers, because I'm old. Sorry. And I'm gonna say get now. So it's showing me right now, do you want the property tax profile estimate? And I say continue with the order. And I know it looks silly because it's like, why we're not online shopping. There are no fees. It's just the way that they structured it. It's a little interesting. Oh, I'm gonna allow that. All right, doesn't want to run. Okay, so the profile's here. So it's gonna come up. I'm gonna switch this out so you guys can see. At the top, you can convert that to a PDF and send that to a client if you need to, or you can send it as an email. As I scroll down, I'm going to see the property address, the APN, who owns it. So I got the primary owners in here. I see the last loan on here and the recording document. So the recording document is highlighted. So if I need that information, I just click on that and I have access to it. Because this isn't hooked up, I'm not going to click on everything. But you do have access to all the documents that are a public record that are associated with this property within the last 15 years. It's going to give you obviously the property characteristics, the taxes, the assessed year, any type of things that they've done to the property for on this one for the loan. So we have the last amount at $369. And then I've got all the comps on here for you. And then you can see as I scroll down, anything that's recorded on the property, the releases, their mortgage, all of that, the grant deed back from 2000 is all the way down here. So if I wanted a copy of that grant deed, I could click on that as well. And then as I scroll through, it gives me all the mortgage information. So typically for you guys, you just want to know, was there a loan or is there a loan on the property? Or is there no loan on the property? Or are there multiple loans on the property? What are we exactly dealing with? A lot of times, most of my clients use this is just for the convenience to know, hey, I want to pull the taxes. I want to be able to see who owns the property, who exactly are my sellers. I'm meeting with a husband or I'm meeting with a wife, or maybe it's a divorce situation. Maybe there's, you're talking to somebody you're not quite sure and you can look at that grant deed and just make sure that the signature's vibe. You know what I'm saying? We see a lot of that kind of crazy stuff too in our business. So down at the bottom, we have all the different transfers, and I know it's a lot because it pulls through the last 15 years. So typically you just want what's at the top, and then it should go into my estimated property tax profile. And this is kind of what I wanted to focus on with you guys. So you have all of that, and then you've got this wonderful information. I don't know if you can read it very well, but if you can, you can see that the effective tax date for 12/10/2024, if they were to purchase this, their new tax amount would be $10,256. And their estimated monthly amount would be $855. And below that, you're gonna see a supplemental. So many of you have to put a buyer in a property. Have any of you had that question where they're like, oh, we got a tax bill all of a sudden? It's their supplementals, right? It's the difference. And it's usually, typically it's a one-time bill. It can be two depending on when it closes and when the county's done their tax rolls. But for the most part, it's a one-time bill. In this particular case, if I was putting a buyer into this property, they paid $900,000 for it, I would say you are most likely going to get an estimated supplemental bill within the next 6 to 8 months. It could be longer. Again, we're dealing with the county. So just make sure you are aware of that, right? And the other thing you want to know, if it's going to close in August, it's going to be for about $4,711. If it closes in September, it's $4,250. See how it kind of goes down the longer because they're paying on it. Does that make sense? That's okay. And then it's going to tell you how many escrow months to collect at closing. So all of this is really good for that buyer. And then you've got your basic levy, which we already know, right, is the 1.1. And that's typical for where we're at in today or in the county. There are properties that have higher taxes because there's Mello-Roos or CFDs, Community Facilities District. If this property did have a CFD or a bond or Mello-Roos, it would say yes, right where it says no CFD right there, but it would say yes, okay? So it's a really nice online system to be able to have access to these taxes. Now, this isn't something I would parade at an open house and be like, woo, look what your taxes are gonna be. But it would be nice to have a printout and just be able to have that within your open house folder or whatever you have. So if somebody does come in and say, gosh, I really like this house, okay, 900, where would my taxes be based off of that?
You actually be surprised. A lot of people do ask for that. So
I think it should be everywhere. I always tell my agents, make sure you have this because all that does for you guys is you look like superstars. You did your homework, you're providing value rather than, figure it out, I don't know, And I do get a little, I'm not gonna lie, I get concerned, especially for my newer agents. I know Gabe knows that. I'm sure they're going to an open house, I'm gonna make sure they have. I wanna make sure you guys are all set for that, especially if you're newer and all of a sudden you're showing up to a property that it's not a property that you listed, so you don't know all the characteristics or what's going on with it. The other thing I wanna make sure you guys understand too is this system, this is called Black Knight. Okay, Black Knight is who's providing this data to us, to you guys as a courtesy. Black Knight is getting the data through the counties, okay, whether it's Orange, Riverside, actually it's nationwide. So every county that the properties are being assessed. So if this particular seller was to call you, sorry, I'm going all the way back up, and we're at the property characteristics page now, right? And they tell you, well, my house is a 6-bedroom and it's a 4-bath. And it's showing 5 and 2.75 on here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's really nothing that we can do other than double check with the county to make sure that we're reporting it correctly. And that seller obviously knows their house, right? If they have a 6-bedroom and a 4-bath, they're most likely not lying to you, especially if they're going to sell the house. But if they're going to exchange that or sell that property, the owner's going to come in, they're going to get an appraisal, and it's going to be assessed correctly with the bedrooms and bathrooms. As a homeowner, I wouldn't call the county and go, you know what, you guys are showing my house in a 3-bedroom and a 2-bath, and it's really 5-bedroom and 5-bath. That's just gonna go, oh, maybe we need to send out, it could, I'm not saying it will, but it could trigger. You don't wanna give the county any reason to possibly reassess your house, okay, because it's a little bit bigger. And I can't change somebody else's house property characteristics, bedrooms, bathrooms, and neither can you. Only that seller can tell them we think it's incorrect, okay? If there's been permits done and finalized, it will show, the county will reassess, and it would come up. So if they tell you they've done permits and it's not showing, most likely it's not finalized, and they didn't complete that work. Every city, county has a way to pull up the permits to see what's been done. So you just kind of want to bring that to your attention because I get that a lot. Well, they said they did a garage conversion into a room. Well, they may have, but they didn't do it properly and finalize it, and they're not considering it as part of the square footage. Okay. Does this help you guys on online profiles? Okay. So again, if you email me and say, I need login or login for Title Pro, I'll make sure that you have that before the end of the day today, and we'll get you all set up. And I wanted you to see this just so you had an idea of how to pull the taxes when you're going from there. So I'm going to get out of this and go back and just to the regular reports. I want to share a couple other things. You do not have to check all of that or star all of that to get that information. So if you just wanted the comps or just wanted the property details, you just unstar. That's all I'm going to do is start unstarring the things I don't want. Okay. If you just want the taxes based off the purchase price, I would just click that. And just know, once you do order a profile, it will even email you. You'll get a separate email with, yeah, you just did it?
Yeah, I'm doing it right.
Yeah, you get a separate email with the taxes that come over. So it sends you a little reminder of here's your taxes, so it does make that nice. Okay, so we kind of covered, it is nationwide. Again, all the, and history will show any reports or anything that you pulled on it. And I kind of wanted just for fun, to get into this list right here. Just so you kind of have a taste of what we could maybe go over the next time when we're together. There's a free version and then there's a premium version, okay? Because we have to stay compliant with the Department of Insurance. On the free version, if I was to type in, let's just type in Lake Elsinore. For fun. Gosh, I'm so blind. There we go. With 2 L's, just changed it. There we go. I'm gonna add that. So I got 35,000 right now for Elsinore. I could really get specific. I could pull in the property and I could say I want all single family residences. So I can say property type or property characteristics, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, and it really gets in. Sorry, it's a little slow on this. And then over here, I can go into distressed, and I can type in delinquent taxes. They will give you the properties that are delinquent on the taxes. So you can do it for all of the zip code. Okay, so this is a quick way to get some of that.
I was asking you about.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really cool. I know we have so many different tools and products for you guys. So really, if there's something that you're looking for, just let me know and I can lead you in the right direction. Delinquent taxes are easier to get you. Obviously, I go into this system a lot and pull data. Just depends on what you're doing. And it really can get tricky if you haven't played around with it and got deep dived into it. But even in the premium feature, when I click over to premium, I can go into instant list. Look at all the stuff that's in here and available for you guys. So the other day, just for fun, I clicked on the distressed and pre-foreclosures. So it will let you know what the NODs and the notice of sales that are going on within your city or zip. Okay, so you can get specific. There's not a ton, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It's not like the good old days where everything was, a lot of distressed properties. But we do have them, they are there. So if that is something that you're interested in, you have access to pull that data from here as well. They will charge, I think it's 8 cents a record for that. And it's just like going shopping. Once you click on it, you kind of wasn't gonna go in data today.
Is that just name and address, or does that have the phone numbers too?
It has the name, the address, it should give you all the data that's available for that property. And not all phone numbers will show up, so it's a little scared. But I knew, the only thing I was worried about is like running from an iPad and trying to pull this in the internet connection, that it might take a little bit. So right here, you're seeing that list. Sorry, go ahead. So it showed me I have 39. Okay, so can you guys see that on the right? It's pulling all condos, HUDs, single families that has a notice of default recorded from 2/23 of 2023 or notice of sales, and there's 39. So if I want that data, because I want to target them for foreclosures or notice of sales, then I would just hit next and follow the steps, and you basically enter your credit card and make a payment, and it would probably be, what's 40 times 8 cents? $3 each one. Thank you. It's not going to cost very much. So depending on what kind of data you want to purchase. Again, I wanted to just basically go over profiles in here, pull the taxes, but it can do so much more. So definitely take a look at the cheat sheet or it's a lot, I know, going on in here, but it has all that information for you. Or even if you just go back to the main page at home. And down at the bottom, there's even videos on there. Okay, so if there's something that you feel you want to know more about, just know that you have that access on here. The app that goes along with this is called Title Pro, obviously. And what I will do is when you sign up for it, and I'll make sure, Derek, that you have it, in the email that I send you, it will have the link. and show you exactly where the app is and what it's called and how to get to it, okay? And it gives you that information, so you'll have access to both of it. But remember, the app will not give you the taxes, and it does not do that taxes based off the purchase price, because the counties won't let us tie in, so I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, so who's ready to do their own nut sheets and quick estimates and learn about lawyers' agents?
Me!
Yay, hey Manny, all right, so let me get back to that. So I'm gonna transition over to Lawyers Agent 1.
Awesome.
Okay, perfect, all right. A few things, it's really basic, and you can run this off of 5 different devices, okay? So the difference between, I got cheat sheets for you guys on that too. So let me pass that around. This is working with sellers, if you don't mind, and this is working with buyers. It's just a 1-page versus a whole booklet. So Lawyers Agent 1 was developed by Palm Agent. So it's not just an app exclusive for us, but I feel like Lawyers Agent is probably, I should just say Palm Agent in general. It's the #1 app that realtors use right now. And they keep touting about Tom Ferry, he keeps talking about it at all his latest seminars and retreats that he's doing, and that's because of all the branding and marketing that go along with it. So just so you know, you can go to Lawyers Agent 1 and download it. It's your email that you're gonna use and the password that you're gonna set up. It's really basic to get to this. If this is something you wanna do while you're online, you can as well and register, but you don't need me to grant you access to get into it. It just notifies me when you need to be renewed. There is a free version, and then there's a paid for version, and the paid for version, I wanna say, is 99 cents a month or $10 for the whole year. It's like, and it will let you know on the paid for version if you wanna upgrade, okay? The reason we have to charge you 99 cents a month for the for the upgraded version is for the branding, because title companies cannot co-brand with realtors, and we can't give you free marketing because of the Department of Insurance, so they had to come up with a huge cost of 99 cents a month or $10 a year to make that happen. But the free version is available for you, and you can do your quick estimates and your net sheets, and I'm gonna go through and talk you through that. So this is what the app looks like. If I was just to look at it, it's the Lawyers Agent 1. Up at the top, I want to walk you through a couple things. The top left where you see, I don't even know what you want to call these little doodads at the top left above address. That is where you're going to set up your profile. And you're going to want to go in there and add your DRE number, anything that you guys do to brand yourselves should be put in your profile. So you'll be able to upload what you can for free, okay? If you want to go the upgraded version and do all the branding, I highly recommend that you do it, because once you see some of the things that you could do in this app, you're gonna be like, why wouldn't I? Because you're gonna be able to create a marketing piece just off doing a net sheet for a seller or a quick estimate for a buyer. So once you enter all that information, you're gonna hit the top right and save it. Okay, you wanna make sure you do that. And then up at the top in the middle where it says Lawyers Agent 1, do you see where it says Southern California? And then I have it defaulted to Riverside. If I'm working a buyer in San Bernardino, I would change it to San Bernardino. If I'm selling a home in San Diego, I would change it to San Diego. You need to do that because the taxes are gonna be different for that area. If you don't do that, it won't make sense. And if you put in an address that's in Riverside, or in San Bernardino, and you have it defaulted for Riverside, it's not going to work. So that's where you would change the default for that. If anybody has any questions, feel free to just ask me too.
Where's that again?
Okay. Right at the top in the middle, where it says Lawyers Agent 1, and there's a drop down.
Yeah.
You got it? Okay.
How do you get San Bernardino?
So I go Southern California, and it's done. And then select county, and then I have options, San
cool.
Bernardino,
Cool.
San Diego, Ventura.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I probably should have demoed that. Okay, this is what I love. So let's add an address. I use the same so I know that it just flows rather than going all over the place. So I'm gonna type in the 976 Jovita since we had already pulled it. And then what it's gonna do is HomeLink's gonna pop up with it. And it's gonna tell me right there that this is what the taxes are currently on that property. So I'm gonna say, okay, great, tie that in there. So now I've got my taxes set below. You guys see that? Okay, perfect.
Now, is that very accurate, that the taxes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're pulling, off the taxes.
Got it.
And we knew that because we just pulled the taxes. So,
But that's based on what they owe now, right, versus what they're selling it for.
yes, this is what, yes, correct, yes. So when I pulled on the estimated, I put in a 900, it doubled. It went to 10,000.
Yep.
Yeah, so on the estimated taxes. So I'm gonna put in a home price right here for, again, we're working a buyer's estimate right now. Okay, so I'm just typing in 900. And then right there where it says loan type, right underneath that, every time you see a drop down, there is more to choose from. So if your buyer is going FHA, obviously there's different guidelines, and it knows the guidelines, right? So if I was to do, a $500,000 purchase, and if it's FHA, it's going to tell you what the limits are for FHA, okay? So I'm gonna leave it at conventional, I'm gonna hit done. Are they putting 10% down? Are they putting $100,000 down? All I'm doing is just going down and pressing it with my finger. That's all I'm doing. And then on the down payment, I can say, you know what, maybe it's $300,000 I'm putting down. All right, so I'm gonna enter that. And then the rest would be on my interest rate based off the 600,000. And then the term for 30 years. And then next to miscellaneous, you guys see the little, I'm gonna call that like a gear or wheel. If I click on that, this is where I can add or subtract from my closing costs. So again, this is set to industry standards. It is obviously not to replace your escrow. It's just to give you guys a good feel for what's going on there and be able, if you were sitting at an open house and we had somebody come through that really wanted to know, you would be able to do this right then and there for them. All right, so I could put in the item name right here. I could escrow deposit credit, a seller contribution, an ad fee, okay? If you're newer in the business, I highly recommend you have escrow run those for you up front so you can kind of get familiar with the fees. And I don't know, Gabe, if you want to back me on that, because I mean, I know as you are newer, a lot of the stuff that's coming out, you're like, well, what exactly, how much is it? And you'll find that you'll see reoccurring charges that are very similar, you know, home warranty, termite, things like that are pretty common. If I go back and I know my taxes are here, hazard insurance, 0.35, and we've got the city transfer tax. The only other city that charges an extra 1.1% is Riverside. So if you are selling a property or buying a property, it's an extra 1.1% for Riverside. Did you guys know that already? Okay. And then if there's an HOA fee, you could add it in here as well. We can just, let's say there's $150 HOA. That's the other thing we don't see on profiles, just so you know, for newer people, we don't see HOA fees. We only can tell you where, who the HOA may be, and we can tell you if there's an HOA lien, but we don't know what the fees are, okay? And then it defaults to lawyer's title because it's a lawyer's title product. However, this is where you would go in, and this is where you would change your escrow fee for Lago Escrow. And you would go in here, and all I did was click on it, and now I'm going to manual calculation. And I can put the escrow company name, so I can type in Lago Escrow. And then I double checked with Miss Amy, and we are at a $450 base and a $2.50 per thousand cost. And I'm gonna hit continue. Okay, so now I've got my escrow fee in there. That's how you calculate and have a good estimate. It's $450 base for a Lago and $2.50 per thousand, and I just verified with her right before the meeting. Okay, the wheel right here, the closing date, it's at 8/23, that's today's date. Tell me where we're at, we're already in August 23rd. Oh my God, where did the day go? Or where's this fly, this year's flying? Okay, so.
This season's the best, so pass it by fast.
That was it. So August, so let's just say I'm gonna change it, go into, let's just make it the 27th of October. I'm gonna hit compute. Okay, so I just ran this all off on my iPad, which looks like this. You see all the numbers, which looks like that, which looks the same as your phone, which would look the same on your lawyer's agent desktop, okay? The difference is once I compute this, it's gonna give a little halt. And now it's telling me based off what she just said, the new taxes, it's telling me now, look, you're gonna have higher taxes based off that new purchase price, okay?
So I was gonna ask, because I usually do it manually and I go through the Title Pro 247
Yeah.
before I get that new, based on the new purchase amount, and then I plug it in, but I guess it does it for you.
It does it for you. So it was definitely, everything we would just kind of went through,
Yeah,
but it's showing me, what I guess I should have been clear, was showing me what the current taxes were.
Right.
And then once we added the 900,000, it's going to double that. All right, so this is where I love this app and I have a lot of fun. Because if I'm buying this property and I look at it and I go, wow, okay, I have to bring it to close, grab my, I really wanted to keep my payment at $5,000 or under. Do you see how it says 5379? There's an edit button there. So if I just click on edit and back it out and go to 5,000 and hit done, now it's gonna tell me exactly what I need to bring in to make that happen, okay?
I needed this class sooner, because I do it.
So sorry, you guys. You know what I do? I'll just kind of do refreshers. Yeah.
Pretty sure we taught this though.
Yeah. So, and then one of the things I can do,
It's the third time, Manny.
sorry. All right, so one of the, I want to make sure you guys have a really, a good clear, understanding that obviously you're not hurting this, right? So you can manipulate the numbers as far as what your buyer says they're comfortable with. If 5,000 is good and they're good with bringing that to close, and we'll go from there. The detailed closing costs that you see below that, if I click on that, that's all the standard fees, right? But you may look at this and go, you know what? That home warranty or, what do I have in here? So sub escrow's right, the taxes are right, the title fees are in here, your logo fees in here for escrow, everything's in there, right? Processing, your credit report, maybe there's something, maybe the appraisal wasn't 650, maybe the appraisal's 750, okay? So that's where you would go back in here and you go, okay, I'm gonna up that appraisal, I'm gonna hit edit, I'm gonna change that to, and I could be wrong, you guys.
They're gonna pay the appraisal outside of escrow anyway, because they have to pay it up front.
But that's where you can manipulate this and change it. So definitely take a look at your closing costs. Because every transaction is a little bit different. Again, this is just an estimate and it's set to industry standards. So when I go through and if I click done, it's gonna ask me every time I change one of those features, is it for just this estimate or for every time? So if you use a TC on every transaction, put the TC in there for every transaction and add the 350 or however, 500, whatever the TC cost is gonna be. And then I'm gonna say on this one, just for this estimate only, I'm gonna go back at the top right, where that little, I don't know what that's called, where it looks like you're gonna print it. You can kind of see what we got going on here, right? We already hit the compute, we already have all the bring to close. At the top right, I'm just clicking on that with my big fingers. And that's where it's gonna give me my share option. I can send this full report, I can email it, I can text it, save it, whatever I need to do. So if I wanna send it as a geo report to that buyer so they can see nearby schools, that kind of stuff, I can do that. Or just click send full report. So based off of everything that we input, this is the fun part that comes up. Ooh, the bells and whistles. Should have did a drum roll.
Yeah.
So here's my home estimate, okay? So this one's a 2-pager. So if I don't like this 2-page and I don't like the way it looks, see at the bottom left where it says templates, I can change that,
Oh my god, how cute.
okay? And maybe I just wanna do something a little different and not do 2 pages. Maybe I wanna just do this home estimate right here. Okay? So it's really up to you what you wanna do. It's really nice, and then it's branded to me, so I think that's a really good thing to be able to have. So it lets you know all your fees are in here. Pretty cool, right?
Super cool.
All right, and then if I want to send that, I would just click on that. So I don't recommend texting this or posting this to social media. I don't know why they have all that on there, but for the most part, email, you can print it, or at the very bottom, if I just want to save it, I would click Save Estimate, name it, and it's already done there for me, and then Save to Estimates, and it's
It looks
done.
like something you can print out for an open house too, right? Just that one sheet.
Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. To me, as long as you have that data, I would really, it's more for the buyer that's coming in, that you might want to wait to show everything. You just maybe have those taxes, but it's nice to have. I mean, it's up to you. So that's a couple of things. The other thing that it does is give you like the loan details and the amortization for that. So I just, at the top, so I don't know if you guys saw that, there was 3 choices, so we go back, there's the estimate, right? And then on the left was the Smart Compare, and the right is the loan details. Okay, so Smart Compare, it's pretty cool. Is this loan right? Get the loan that's right for you. Okay, so you have some options that you can plug in here and do. There's a lot of fun things that are available for you in here. And then if that's something I wanted, I would just click that. And now it's gonna do a flyer, a loan comparison for that client,
That's beautiful.
okay? So that was all I did, going back, right? And I can change that if I wanted to, with those details. I mean, it's just insane, this app, so you definitely need to play around with it.
Yeah.
And this part's free, free!
We like free.
We do, don't we? Okay, so does this, okay, making sure you're good with that. So now I'm gonna go back, get out of this, and I'm gonna go to a seller. So you see at the bottom, we've got buyer, seller, calculators, and then premium, okay? So if I go to the seller, it's literally running through the same, just on a different scenario, okay? Do you guys want me to run you through a whole seller perspective?
Sure.
Why not? Let's do it. All right, so let's put in an address. Anybody have a different one that's not gonna stump me?
You wanna use my house?
So, do you wanna use your house?
I'll give you,
Manny, which one are you working on right now?
here, do
Let's do
I'll give you one that's
This
for sale
one?
on my street.
oh, okay.
What is that?
Which one?
I think it's 294,
I'll give you
oh,
three.
no, I don't know. 29435 Canyon Valley Drive?
It's listed
Oh,
already.
no, that's my house, I'm sorry, those are my house. 29434. Her address is really close to mine.
Why, what is your house going for? Come on.
I know.
Okay,
I think
so as I type, that's where you'll see all the addresses come in. So hopefully it will. So if, depending on when the last time they did any type of loan or financing or anything like that, does the loan always come up? Not always, right? And did the taxes come up? Not always. So there are going to be times where you're going to want to verify the taxes. And I'll talk to you about that. So in this particular one, it came up that it's the 4702 from HomeLink. And do you see right here? It's hard to, I can't blow this up. It's basically says, we also found a loan recorded in 2022 for $116,000. Estimated property tax and loan, enter the interest rate below to calculate the estimated loan balance. So the average interest rate was 8.21 for 2022, according to Freddie Mac. So I can put that in if I want, and that's probably the second, but I can put that in, or I can just skip it, okay? So for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and skip it. Okay. What are we selling this house for?
it's, I'm sorry, I'm not ready for you. 665.
Okay.
Good.
All right, again, we can do FHA, conventional, right? You guys know the loan limits. Would this qualify for FHA?
Yes.
Let's do it for 5. Okay. Broker fee, we're gonna leave it at 6. I'm not making, you guys are worth every single penny. But if you had to change it, you just go to the little wheel to the right and you change it, okay? In fact, go for 8, go for 10, I don't care. Okay, repairs, this is where you put in your repairs, if you have any, maybe there's a wood fence, this is more your forte, this is where you guys shine, you know what you have to do here, right? And then the miscellaneous, again, adding to the closing cost, subtracting from the closing cost. Is there an HOA transfer fee, home warranty? Are you charging a transaction fee? I'm just kind of scrolling through my little wheel here, okay? Let me hit back. Okay.
I get a whee!
So 665, seller loan balance, I might not know that loan balance, right? So they're telling me it's about 115. Could be, may not be,
It's pretty cool though.
okay? Most of the time it's accurate. I mean, I could use that just for fun and see, but I have a feeling that 2022, 100 and something, that might be a second. Yeah, I was gonna say,
It said 8%, that's giving you a.
yeah, so I mean, we don't have to use that. I mean, look, never guess on somebody's loan balance, by the way. The original deed of trust will let you know the terms. If they took a loan out back in, I don't know how long they've lived there, your neighbors have lived there, but if they took a loan, 10 years ago, they would take, 2013, what was the average rate in 2013, and then you can kind of figure out the back end from there. Hopefully your seller tells you, or the person that's thinking about selling their home knows what their loan balance may be. There is a way to utilize that back end. I'm not gonna use that. Let's just, for demonstration purposes, let's just say they owe $350. Okay, just to continue and move on. I'm not gonna do the 8.21. I'm gonna just stay safe at like 5.75. Done. Again, the escrow fee, I'm gonna back out lawyers, put the manual calculation for Lago. I'm gonna enter in the base amount, $450. Enter in rate per thousand, $250. And continue. We're gonna close this. When are we closing? Next month? Is that fast one?
Next one day.
All right. Get that closed, okay. Sometimes it will do it. Okay, so similar to what we saw before, okay? The difference with this though is this one will give you multiple offers, because that's what I'm hearing right now. Either this, I could be totally wrong, but what I'm hearing is if you've got a hot property or a good property, you're getting multiple offers on it. Or you're not getting any offers and you're having to work on, on the property itself. But if you wanted to, you could go over to the multiple offers and add in the next offer, add in the next offer at the bottom. Do you see where it says add offer?
Oh,
Okay, so, and you can kind of do a comparison for that client.
that's nice.
Whoa.
Which makes it nice. So I'm gonna go back to my net sheet. Again, the same scenario on here. If your client says, gosh, I have to net 300,000. I can't do the 267. We need at least 300,000 to make it happen in our next half. That's when you would edit that, make it, and then go from there. But that's like a miracle would need to happen, right? Okay. So at the top, again, that little arrow that goes up, I can text a snapshot of this report or send a full report. And again, the same scenario with the templates, and if I wanted to change that up, I have all these NetSheet different options in there for me. Okay. Customize right here. You can change the language.
Oh, if you wanted it in Spanish, you can just change it.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Okay. We have French.
Whoa.
So does Spanish.
I just don't know about Brazilian,
Hey, Bobby.
because I won't be able to.
Okay, you want to do it in Spanish?
I know.
Let's see.
You read it.
So you can see
Bring
your,
me to the meeting.
Let me know if you have any questions.
so you can do Spanish, right? Pretty cool.
You can do even German, French.
How to do those?
Cool.
There you go.
Hoja neta.
That's honestly really dope. You can do Spanish.
Hoja
It
neta.
is. Sorry.
Yeah, hoja neta. Los costos de. Oh wow, yeah.
Neta al cerrar.
That's like proper Spanish.
Yes.
I'm about to learn those words.
Spain
Yeah, that's Spain Spanish right there. I'm about to like brush up on that.
So you guys get the gist of it, right? There's a lot of fun bells and whistles that are in here. So that's why I gave you the buyer and the seller, the little net sheets. The other thing I want to let you know at the top, let's just go back.
The girl who was from Peru, and she was in Japanese.
Here we go.
Spanish, like.
There's so much
ways to say certain things.
Let me get back. Okay, so now I'm on calculators. I'm kind of skipping through because I still have time. At the bottom, you see the calculators on there. There's the buy down calculator. There's the sell to net, which is what do I have to make this property sell at? What do I have to net to sell this property? There's a bunch of monthly affordability. I like monthly affordability. I think this is a really cool calculator because how many times you're at a party or you're with the children or whatever on the weekends and whatever you guys are doing, but you're socializing or in a social setting and somebody tells you they're renting and gosh, they'd really like to buy a house. This is where you can kind of say, well, what are you renting and what do you pay? And you can say, well, what as I stumble here, if they tell you, well, you know what, we pay, I mean, let's be honest, right? As one of my clients' friends is paying $3,200 for a 2-bedroom apartment in Corona. Yeah, right? So if they're able to afford $3,200, she may be able to afford to buy a house. And so if she was to say to me, I could possibly afford a $3,500 house payment, or I'm comfortable with a $32,000, I can put that in here, hit done, hit compute, and it's going to show me what this person could buy, right? So, and you can play with this, right? With 10% down, or but it's a $408,000 loan amount, and then it could even be more fun. I can create a marketing piece for that person. And let's just say I want to send a full report or text the snapshot.
This is so nice.
But I see this a lot. So just so you guys know, whenever you're creating on this, which is every day, 7 days a week, all my agents that are on it, as a sales team and the whole, or just as our industry in a whole, it notifies me. Now, I had to turn my notifications off, but I do see all the marketing pieces that are being created because they want us to engage with you guys, and I'm just not going to hound you over marketing pieces. I look at it, but I know what you guys are using.
I like that.
And this just created off that scenario, so yes.
That's not including, tax and insurance. Is it including everything?
A mortgage payment is made up of 4 components, the PITI, so with 0 down.
Personal interest, tax, insurance, yeah.
But I mean, taxes vary, so it's just a rough estimate, of course.
It's just, and I don't want you, again.
Yeah, you
it's
can't
just-
rely on that. Yeah, it's estimated. Of course.
Exactly, but it will give you a little bit, or, something to post. So I would look at it as if it was something I wanted to post on social media.
Conversation piece. you
It's
want that.
exactly, and just maybe keep it in the average, or maybe the demographic of where you're at, or, you could utilize that. So there's so many things in here, from iBuyer to refinancing to multiple extra payment. I mean.
What would happen, I got something, what would happen if you went to an apartment building and you figured out what the average apartment renting for, and you mail flyers out with this?
Love that idea. So Gabe said if you went to an apartment complex and took the average rent, especially even the newer ones that are popping up, that you act like you're the renter, or that you're interested, and you get maybe the schematics of, the average and the 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, or what have you, and take the average rent. This would be a great piece to send to that. And you could say current resident or current renter on that, maybe they're not gonna let you door knock. We all know that, right? They're gonna chase you on the golf cart, so just. Yeah. But it will. If anything, it'll spark some ideas for you. So that's all in there. And then, of course, we talk about the premium, and I just want to touch on this for a section. I can take this to click over. Okay, here's all the infographics in the premium. So when my realtors are telling me they don't have anything to post, or they're not quite sure what they need to do, it's not only social media, but there's so much. Do you feel the pain on that?
Yes.
Okay. She's like, yeah. There's a bunch of swipeable graphics in here. There is filters. I mean, look at this.
What is that? In the premiums?
And the premiums.
That's the $10 a year.
It's like for $10 a year or $99, it's less than 2 Starbucks. I mean, if you think of
That's
it,
a good point. Sure.
I paid $5.65 for a Starbucks drink this morning. That's why I haven't eaten all day. I only had my drink. But it's got a lot. So just make sure you scroll through for the standard infographics. I can see on here, once I put my readers on, the home report, do interest rates really matter? Saying goodbye to PMI could save you thousands. There's a great piece, right? Goodbye to PMI loan. Ownership equity. If I click see all, I can see every marketing piece right here. Here's renting versus buying. We were just talking about that. If Gabe was to take that average rent in that complex, pull up this flyer, rent versus buy, change it, right?
So we just put our
Mm-hmm.
picture and company name, and it'll come up all branded and everything?
Correct. So once you get right in that very beginning, that's on that cheat sheet hat, when I went through, up at the top left, make sure you set up your profile, put your information in there. This is no value to you if you do not brand it to yourself, period, okay? Anyway, there's so much. So do you see at the top how it says standard, then it says Facebook post, Instagram story, Instagram post? There's a lot. So if I went to Facebook post, these are all the things I could be posting to Facebook. Now, might not be everything that I want, but there's options for you in here. So I see what you guys are doing. Like right here, should you wait to buy? What a great Facebook, you know? Examples, buy now, a year later, buy now, refi, date the rate, what is it they say? Marry the, yeah. You could make a post, say something like that and put it up there, but there's really a lot. This does so much. So the challenge for you is obviously make sure you download this or log in online, Lawyer's Agent 1, do the free version, get comfortable with it. If you don't want to pay the extra 99 cents for the other branding, right, you still have access. You'll be surprised at all the free content that you get in there for free. You will have access to net sheets and quick estimates. And then play around with it. And when you are doing an open house and you have maybe if it's not crazy busy or you're, play with it. Go through it and take a look at some of the things that are offered for you in here and figure out what's best for your business and what you want to brand, maybe in the area. So anyway, that's kind of the half and half, right? We started with Title Pro and we went into this. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a quick one about the geo report. Isn't the one, so like for open houses, when you want to do a flyer with the neighborhood statistics and the schools and restaurants and things that are like around the address? Is that in here?
The geo report, and I'm kind of just running through it really quick. The geo report is, I'm just making up numbers so you can see
I
it.
think those are nice for open houses.
You could actually get that through list reports.
Correct.
For your open house flyer.
So
It'll
this,
be like the information of the property in
Yeah.
front and then behind it, it'll be all what you
Oh,
guys.
okay, I think those are nice for open
well,
houses.
hold on, that didn't help because I didn't put an address in. Hello. All right, so let's do, let's keep it to the one we have in there so I can show you. That's all it's really doing. It's not giving you the names. It's just like, a Jim's 0.8, supermarkets 1 mile. Boy.
Schools.
But look, your internet speed, that's important.
Yes, it is.
They really want to make sure you understand the internet in, restaurants. So it's, it's something different. So,
I have a question about the supplement assessment. If they're living at that home, can they do an exemption? Can they apply for like an application or submit an application to get exemption?
you're talking about the homeowner's exemption.
Yes.
Okay, that's completely different than supplemental taxes. So the question was about the homeowner's exemption. So the homeowner, I'm glad you brought that up. Everybody, how do I say? I have a system called Dynamic Farm that will, you can take your GeoFarm area and it will let you know if who has the homeowner's exemption and who doesn't, which is pretty cool. So if you're a door knocker, it's a reason to reach out, right? You can say, hey, have you taken advantage of this? I have a flyer on the homeowner's exemption. They fill out with the county online. So for Riverside County, you would go on there and you would be able to get the form that they can fill out or lead them in the right direction. I highly recommend if they're not taking advantage of the homeowner's exemption, it's a $70 savings. Is it huge? No, it's $7,000 they're entitled to it. They definitely need to apply for it, and that would be something of value as a realtor that you could bring, or a reason to touch base, right? Not only to your farm area, but to your past clients in your sphere, right? So if you start pulling those addresses and you see on their tax bill that they have not taken part of the $7,000 homeowner exemption, I would call them. Let them know, hey, it's Lisa, we're at Keller Williams. I just want to let you know, I was noticing you didn't take, I didn't know about it. Well, I know it's $70, but $70 is $70, right? And it's a reason for you, then you end up talking about kids and schools, and it goes into, that wants to buy, sell, or invest. So it's definitely a reason to reach out. I have a flyer on the homeowner's exemption. I have all the contact for every county that's on there that I'd be more than happy to send over to you guys if you want that. just email me and say I want that, and I can send it. In fact, some of my agents have written really cool letters using ChatGPT and tying that in with my flyer and some of the information from there. So make it your own, and yeah, it's a reason to reach out. But yes, this doesn't talk about the homeowner's exemption or adding it in. It would just be included on the sell side. So if you're buying it, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Okay?
Awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Anybody else?
I have a quick question. I wanna, I've been purchasing phone numbers from a title company, from my other brokerage, but I can do that on Title Pro too, right?
Yeah.
I select my farm, how much is it per phone number?
We'll have to look on that
Can I
Title
put like
Pro.
25 bucks on the
Let's
account?
talk when the cameras go down.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, you guys.
Wait, no more questions, guys?
We're good? One more? You guys all got the cheat sheet, just in case, right? We got pins. You got the buyer side.
Nice, it's like done.
So, wrap it up the
A
wire?
lot of time to create.
Wrap it up yet? Okay, I was gonna go,
I ended it again. I wanted to make sure there wasn't any good questions before I ended
And
it.
my cards are in the back right here, in case you need a card as well.
Alright, now you can end the live. Thanks for tuning in. Go apply this, guys. Utilize what's available to you.
Thank you.